Hello, my dear young friends. A very warm welcome once again to all of you to this platform of digital learning. Now, all of you have attended my previous sessions wherein I have discussed about this wonderful story after 20 years, authored by O. Henry. In today's session, I would like to make a revision of all the previous sessions so that you can definitely refresh your learning. This is Professor Krishna HS from Government First Grade College, Kadgodi, Bangalore. Yes, by now all of you might have been familiar with the characters of this story. I hope all of you remember the characters of this story. Bob and Jim are those two good friends who had made a pact, a kind of an agreement, which they had honored 20 years down the line. Their agreement was that they would meet each other after 20 years in the same place and at the same time. It's a wonderful agreement here. And they meet at the hardware shop near a place which was earlier a restaurant by the name Big Joe Brady. And the police officer, the policeman who have been on their night patrolling duty, they inquire Bob, and Bob gives them a convincing answer that he is waiting for his long friend, for his friend whom he had been waiting for 20 long years. Not a small time. And Bob is indeed a criminal who had to be arrested. This is a very tragic part in the story. And the original policeman who was supposed to arrest was none other than Jimmy. Now, Bob is a criminal, no doubt, and he is supposed to be nabbed, arrested by his old buddy. Who is his buddy? It is Jimmy. Jimmy Wells. Jimmy Wells was appointed to arrest Bob. And Bob is just relishing his old memories. He's walking down the memory lane and he's very happy, relishing the good old memories of his sweet friend, his pal, his close friend. And now he is even thinking of the welfare of his old friend. Little does he know that his old friend is indeed the cop who is waiting to arrest him. What a strange irony of fate. Here, Bob, when he is waiting for his friend, he is shown to have very expensive personal items, a very expensive diamond wristwatch. Generally, diamonds are definitely not a poor man's friend. Diamonds are very expensive, diamonds are very, very hard to get at. So, how did Bob get this wealth? Was it legitimately or was it a question which had to be answered later? Was this an illegitimate earning? And now, critically, when you analyze, we see the irony of the fate. We see that the Bob is the wanted criminal and Jimmy is supposed to arrest him. And the fate has a very strange way of bringing people together. Bob, his identity is revealed when he strikes a match to light his cigar. So Jimmy knows the face only at that point of time. And then he is pained, he is agonized as to how he could go and arrest his close friend, whom he had been desperately waiting for 20 long years to meet. And we see that Bob had been walking with a person holding his arm together and had been walking all around the streets of New York. And finally, when they walk around the corner of a drugstore, then the electric light reveals the identity of the person who had been holding Bob. The identity is now out in the open. The person who was holding Bob is definitely not Jimmy Wells, his old friend. The person who was holding him was indeed the policeman sent by Jimmy Wells to arrest his friend Bob. Bob now is a wanted criminal. He is coded as the Silky Bob, who is much needed by the Chicago police. But the strange fate of irony, the strange fate here, the original policeman who was actually sent to arrest Bob was Jimmy. But Jimmy never compromised his duty. He asked his fellow policemen to do the official duty. He, at the same time, was present there honoring the 20-year pact that he had to be with his friend at the appointed time and place. He finally leaves a note with the patrolsman, and the note is handed over to Bob. And in the note, Bob is told by Jim that Jim very clearly says, I have been waiting here. I have been hiding the moment I saw your face in the light of the matches that you struck to light your cigar. The moment I saw you, I left the idea of arresting you personally. But he never went away from his duty. Duty was definitely on the top of his mind. Duty overrided his friendship. He never compromised his duty for the sake of friendship. This is the critical time and the critical decision which Jimmy Wells had taken. And this proved to be definitely a remarkable decision for Jimmy Wells. And now, summarizing the contents here, two guys, Bob and Jim, are always there, meeting each other after 20 long years, meeting at a point near the hardware stores, which was a restaurant, namely Big Joe Brady, when they had their dinner last time when they met. And Bob is explaining to the policeman that he is waiting to meet his old friend, and the policeman is quite convinced. But the strange irony of fate, Bob is not just the plain Bob, he is now the Silky Bob, who is the wanted criminal by the police. His friend Jimmy, he definitely honors the pact of friendship by being there, but doesn't arrest him personally, but gets him arrested through another policeman, thus balancing his duty and friendship. But the call of the duty was stronger and heavier than the call of friendship. Now we have a few questions for you to test your learning. Now, the first question here is, who was the original policeman? Was it the Bob, Tom, Jimmy Wells, or none? Who was the original policeman? It was Jimmy Wells. Bob was known as what by the police? Cotton Bob, Danger Bob, Silky Bob. What was he known as? He was known as Silky Bob. What a nice name. Bob replies to the policeman that he is waiting for whom? For his wife? For his girlfriend? For his sister, friend, or brother? Bob here is waiting for his. It is his friend. And Jim is finally seen as being dashed to his official duty. Was he disloyal, loyal, or none? Jim is certainly loyal. He has definitely taken his duty more seriously than his friendship. Henry is famous for writing the short story, novel, poem, or epic. Henry is famous for writing short stories. And you have some more questions. The antonym of arrogant is, the opposite of arrogant is humble. And the synonym of cop is policeman. The synonym, the similar meaning words. She is not dancing. Adding a question tag, you have a negative statement, not dancing. So you need to have a positive question tag. She is not dancing. Is she? Yes, it is. Is she? He is running. He is running is a positive statement. A positive statement always carries a negative question tag. What is the negative question tag? Isn't he? Is the right answer. He is running, isn't he? And the final question for this session, Bob's watch was made of gold, diamonds, and platinum. In the beginning of the story, Bob is seen to be waiting on the streets of New York at 10 p.m. in the night. And he's seen to be wearing a very expensive personal item, which was his wristwatch. And the wristwatch is made of, my God, the wristwatch is made of diamonds. And Bob was indeed a very most wanted criminal, but his ideas, his dealings were definitely illegitimate. His earnings were definitely illegitimate, and he had been a criminal who had been most wanted by the Chicago police. Unfortunately, his friend had to arrest him. His friend had to arrest him, which he didn't do it personally, but took the help of his fellow policemen. This brings us to the end of the wonderful sessions of learning of this fantastic short story after 20 years. After 20 years, definitely is one short story which has plenty of suspense and a wonderful anticlimax. Anticlimax was used here because Henry was very well known to spring surprises in the end of the story. Thank you all, my dear friends. I hope you all had a very nice time listening to this story. Thank you all. Have a great time.